Oh, it's another 667. This one's in really good shape though. Faceplate's in really good shape. Tin took a lot of work to get it this way. They decided they were going to put, with epoxy mind you, Velcro on the lid. So I had to scrub and scrub and scrub, but I got that to be salvageable. Now we turn our attention to the inside of this thing. So this has got HG 16D08s in it, but they're all smoked, and violently smoked at that. So we can clearly see all the 10 ohmers in this thing have gone on to Jesus. The 10 ohm smoke has come thoroughly out. The other thing is it's got this MOSFET driver section in it. I have always, me personally, been curious about one or two simple things, and I've never really had enough guts to try it on a customer's piece of equipment. So, being that I basically own this, you guys all know my affection for this MOSFET driver section. I think it's junk. I have sitting over here this. What this is a regular driver section that we would use commonly in the rest of the radio world over here. I've always wanted to pull this driver section out, graft in something like this, and then change the bias so we can volt the frickin' amplifier a little bit. These things, because of this resistor, they use a resistor. It's right here. It's a 1 point, and on this board it's a 1.2, and over here is like a 1.6 or a 1.8 ohm resistor. What would happen if I just change this over to a diode? So then we don't have that. When the voltage on this box gets over about, let's say, around 15, 16 volts, the input voltage, because the bias gets up close to around around 1 volt, and that's enough to completely fricassee these frickin' transistors. Like, it just sends them on, flies them off to heaven, right? So I want to do that. I want to convert this over to be something more like, I'm just going to play, and I'm very interested to see how this is going to turn out. This amp is going to be up for sale. There's no ifs, ands, buts, nothing about it. This amp is going to go up for sale. We're probably going to put an oversized combiner on here, and we're going to just, I want to play. We're going to do the full power mods and all that kind of stuff. So this looks like somebody else has already tried to do a power wire conversion to it. They got their grommets glued in. It looks like a hot steaming mess back there. So we'll just go ahead, we'll change all this out a little bit and change it around anyhow. That I'm going to put in here. Well, we shoehorned the 1-pill driver in here. Slightly modified it a little bit. Redid all the Teflon going in and coming out. Let's see. The caps that were on here, a couple of them broke. This one was so burnt it was not recoverable. Went ahead and washed it, got it all cleaned up. It's got five new transistors in it, 4 new HGs, and of course the Toshiba 1-pill section. It is like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna go make me some dinner. I'm gonna go to bed. And when I get up in the morning, I'm gonna hook up the ground wire and I'm gonna hook up the positive lead over here. It was like somebody tried to do the power wire modification that I do, but then didn't follow all the way through with it. And they had 1200 puff here when it only needed 1000. And each one of these little small capacitors, instead of being 330s, they were 120s. I'm like, what? This capacitance here was enough to make it flop into oscillation, but I got the bias disconnected here, here, and here. So I can go ahead and I can check my reference voltage because we're going to try and control these with a diode here and here instead of a resistor. If it doesn't work, I'll put the resistor back in there, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Come on, it's me. It's me. It's me. I got this as an input attenuator in here. That might need to pop out. But I can't wait to see what I got for an input aspect ratio. Like SWR going on the input side. Might have to tweak this cap here, because this was designed to have a balanced 50 ohm load presented to it, and we're pushing everything around at 100 ohms. So we will see. Put the a combiner for a suite in here. Had a friend of mine send me a couple of those. That was pretty cool. Thought I'd throw that in here as a little deal. But first thing, I'll put power wire to it and see if it keys up. You guys would not believe the amount of shit I washed out of this when I washed it on a solder flake. It was breathtaking. So it wouldn't surprise me if we got something a little bit shorted out. And depending on what the condition of these bulbs are in, we might convert it over to be all LED. That's going to happen tomorrow. Gentlemen, on that note, I'm going to go have me some dinner. I'll see you. Good click. Okay, so here we are the next day. And these are our end results. So we're on 14.8 or something like volts. So hello, 1, 2, putting about 30 watts into it. And this is what it looks like opened all the way up. Hello, audio. No problem whatsoever. Hello. 7, almost 800 watts. Let's go to sideband. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, 500 watts bird, no problem on sideband. Let's go back to AM here real quick. Hello, audio. Almost 800 watts. Hello. Which is not too bad. Now, let's let reality set in. Reality is thus that we can't turn this amplifier loose like that. We have to have this connected. That little resistor is pretty important in my mind. Now we've turned an 800 watt amplifier into about a 700 watt amplifier. This little resistor here keeps us from overdriving the bejesus out of this box. And it's literally an overdrive issue. Remember, the 667 was built for a different time. It was built for the Cobra 29 148 era, right? So, got to keep that in mind. Let's turn the sound up on the radio. Preamp works. Let's play with our dial-a-watt. Let's turn the sound down on the radio. Let's go back over here to the watt meter. And now we're going to exercise our dial-a-watt. So the dial-a-watt's all the way open. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Dial-a-watt's working. It is. I always admired how they utilized the variable potentiometer here is the dial-a-watt function, because they flex on both sides of the transformer. So they'll take this resistor here, whatever, and they'll lift ground. Well, they put ground here. So instead of taking this wire and going directly to case ground, like what we do in a lot of other builds, they'll take and they'll put the reference through this resistor across the leg of the potentiometer. So then as you move it through its function, the wiper arm moves from the center post. It's just neat, flexing on both sides of the transformer. It's still a voltage divider for the most part, but this thing is done as done's gonna get. I mean, it came in here a complete burned up pile of junk, and it's leaving out of here a very clean work of art. 12290 driving 4 HG 2879s, metal clad capacitors on it. It's literally got every upgrade to it that you'd ever want, short of installing a fan, which I will do if somebody wants me to do it. There is the extra hole in the cabinet. We've got the real right size grommets to fit the wires in the back now. It's got all the power wire upgrades actually going where they need to go. It's fully biased. Our bias mod, by the way, worked out titties. Worked out just the way it should, and in my opinion makes it a little bit better of an amp. I'm kind of considering doing that to all of them that come in here now. But let's see, the only thing I haven't like visually laid eyes on is to make sure that this meter is working. So let's check that out together. Hello, audio. It's good enough for me. It's a relative meter, not an accurate form of measurement. So, yeah. It's all spiffed up, ready to rock and roll. It's ready to go on and help somebody else out, have a good time. In all fairness, there are 2 little strings of epoxy that are on the heatsink fins. And the heatsink itself is in actually fairly good condition. There's a little tiny wobble here, but there's no discolorization to the anodization that's on it. The tin is in immaculate condition now that I got it all cleaned up. It's got no real scuff marks, no rust on the inside for the most part. I mean, short of the epoxy on the fins on the bottom, which I could probably spend 10 minutes and clean off, this is like a 9 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being best, 1 being shitty. It's about a 9. Internally, it's as clean as a $3 whistle. I mean, it's just good to go. So, yeah, I think we're going to be asking $700 for this. Legit. So, you guys know the drill. First one to call, first one to text, first one to send up smoke signals, first one to contact the aliens, or the first one to figure out who shot Kennedy. Somebody give me a call. You're going to end up getting it. This is the bottom line. Big shout out to Penna, XS, Siglant, McMahon, Bird, Coaxial Dynamics. And as always, big thanks to these guys down here, my Patreons. The wheels on the bus go round and round because of them guys, honestly. If I've ever helped you, you've ever learned anything from this channel, hey, take a minute, come show us support. And also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Hitting that bell really helps. I'm just saying. All right, gentlemen, on that note, I'm out. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm going to put a BBI sticker on this, and I'm going to put the lid back on it. I'll see you, gentlemen. I appreciate you. Click, click, click.